What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be giving you guys an update on the turbo kit that is on our Tacoma. So if you guys have been following us, we haven't posted anything in a while on this kit just because we've been doing a lot of R&D on the back end of it. But today we have an update for you guys and probably the final version of the kit for you guys. So we have been working on this kit to really make it so you guys can install one on your own Tacoma. So this is going to be an R4T branded turbo kit that you guys can install yourself or have a local shop install it for you guys. So this kit here is going to allow us to produce a lot of power that Tacoma is lacking. And if you guys have a build like ours with 35-inch tires and a bed rack and a roof rack and all this heavy stuff and gear that is on the vehicle, all the power that this turbo produces is going to be super useful. So let's give you guys an update and where the kit is currently at. So we have the hood off on the Tacoma since we have been working underneath, and it's just been a lot easier to have it off. But let's go through everything that is the same, and then we'll go through the differences and changes that we just made. So in the front here, we have the intercooler that will keep the turbo cool. It mounts to factory locations there, and there's one down there as well. So that's the intercooler. We have both the pipes going to the passenger side just because there's more room over there. On this side, as you guys can kind of see, there's not a lot of room. There's a bunch of wires underneath the headlight. The battery's on this side. So to make it easier for it to be installed, everything is routed this way as far as the intercooler pipings go. We changed the location of the blow-off valve, and there's two reasons for it. We'll tell you guys in a little bit, but this is the HKS blow-off valve. If you guys are tuners, you guys know exactly what this does and the amazing noise that comes out of it. Underneath the engine bay here, this is where we had the mass airflow sensor before, which is this guy right here. That has been moved to the intercooler piping just because this was throwing off the readings on our air-fuel ratio and giving us a few codes with it being over here. This is where the factory air box normally sits, and this is where the mass airflow sensor normally sits. So we figured, let's put it there. That way, readings and everything is going to be exactly the way it's supposed to be, and we were wrong. So it kept throwing off everything. This was telling the ECU to pretty much adjust for everything that we were trying to tune it with. So now it is here. It's nice because this is a nice straight pipe, and it's going to give us the best reading here. So originally this is kind of where we wanted it, but after a couple back and forth with our builder and the tune guys, we put it there initially, and then we should have went with this location to begin with, but it's here now, so no biggie. The length of the wires is the same. You don't have to extend that at all. So the only thing you will have to do with this kit is make a hole right there for the upper piping. The lower piping goes up and into the engine bay in a factory location, so there's no cutting involved. This is really the only cutting in the entire install process. And then of course this piping goes into the throttle body. So all of that's pretty much the same besides the locations of the mass airflow sensor. Next up, we went with a slightly bigger cone. We are working with K&N on this project. They sent us this cone for it. We're going to be receiving a few more things that we'll show you guys in a later video from K&N. But this feeds our turbo, and if you guys did watch a previous video, you guys will notice this is a slightly bigger turbo. The cool side of the turbo is almost the same size, but the hot side is where you'll notice the size difference. So this is a noticeably different or bigger housing for the hot side. That's the only difference. So the bigger turbo, hopefully a little bit more power will be produced out of that. And the reason we went with a slightly bigger turbo is because the RPM was spinning and we were pretty much going into boost at like 1500 RPM, which is great. It feels amazing because you really have that nice low end power, but that comes with a few things. Lower MPGs, which I know I don't really care about, but I know some of you guys will want better MPGs from what we were getting. So this will allow us to get better MPGs, and it'll move the RPM range where the boost will kick in to about 2000 to 2500, which is better for the majority of people. So that's why we went with a slightly bigger turbo. Everything else is the exact same. Nothing different under the hood as far as the kit goes. Underneath the vehicle, the kit will come with this cross pipe that will replace the Y pipe from Toyota. And currently we took out the straight pipe that was here. That we are installing a bung on there to allow for the O2 sensor to be reinstalled back in. So right now it sounds pretty crazy when we turn it on. And then this exhaust back here, this is our R4T high clearance exhaust. And this one, the only difference between this one and the one you guys see on our website is this is a 3-inch inlet pipe compared to the 2.5 that is on our website. The 2.5 will be perfect for a naturally aspirated vehicle, but we definitely wanted to bump that up with the turbo. That way it flows better. So the very last thing we need to do to have this kit ready is to have it fine-tuned, and our buddies from Yoda Works is going to fly in, and we're going to spend a couple days on really dialing in the tune, making sure it runs good, and we're going to test it off-road. We're going to test it on the street, and we're going to do the dyno again and just make sure everything's running properly or perfectly before we release this kit. So the last thing I want to do now is really just to show you guys what it sounds like without that pipe. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's kind of cool, but it's loud. But we won't be able to drive this thing around until we get it fine-tuned, especially with the new location of the mass airflow sensor and a bigger size turbo. So we don't want to have any risk in blowing this thing up or anything like that driving on the road. So let's just give you guys a little clip of what it sounds like currently. It won't sound like this when the pipe is back in with the O2 sensor, but it's kind of cool. So here we go. Now that it's kind of calmed down a little bit from the startup, this is kind of what it will sound like a little bit later. So there's that, guys. We want to give you guys a little update with where the truck is currently at. Hopefully we'll have this kit available pretty soon. We don't have a price point for it yet, but according to the dyno numbers and everything, we should be able to produce a good amount of power, better than what's currently available on the market for it as far as superchargers and other stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully you guys are too. And that's gonna be it, guys. We'll see you guys in a later video. Peace.